My fiancé texted after canceling our engagement. I maxed out your credit card for my yacht trip. You said you love me. I replied, enjoy. Then I reported the card stolen, disputed the charges as fraudulent since we'd been arguing for a week, and sent her the police report number. Her trip ended at the marina. I need to do what's best for me. We're done. That was it. 10 words. 10 words that shattered everything I thought I knew about my life. My name is Mark. I'm 32 years old, living in San Diego, and up until this morning, I thought I was about to get married to the woman I loved. Alice and I had been engaged for a year. We were a couple for nearly 3. We weren't perfect. We fought like anyone else, but nothing ever felt final. Most of our recent arguments were about stupid stuff. Guest lists, hotel blocks, her mom insisting on inviting second cousins we'd never met. The stress of planning a beachside wedding had both of us on edge, but I never imagined she'd just vanish. The voice message came while I was brushing my teeth. I almost didn't check it right away. I thought maybe it was a vendor or her mom again, but it was her. Alice. Her voice was flat, almost robotic, like she'd rehearsed it. I need to do what's best for me. We're done. That was it. No explanation. No emotion. Not even a goodbye. I called her back immediately. No answer. I called again. Straight to voicemail. I texted, can we talk? Nothing. I sent another message. Alice, please. I don't understand. No response. By noon, I had called her 8 times and texted her twice that many. Her social media went dark. Her mom wouldn't pick up. Her best friend, Carly, finally answered, but gave me nothing. I think you should give her space, she said, her voice tight. She's made her decision. I just stood there in the living room, staring at the wall like maybe it would offer a reason. The worst part? There weren't signs. Not really. Just stress. Just the kind of friction that comes with planning a big, expensive wedding and trying to blend 2 lives. But now? Now there was just a silence so big it swallowed the apartment whole. By late afternoon, I pulled out the wedding binder and opened my laptop. I didn't want to do it, but I had to. The florist. The catering company. The hotel in La Jolla where we booked the block of rooms. The tent rental for the beach ceremony. I had to start canceling it all. Hi, this is Mark Bradley. I'm calling to cancel our reservation. Yes, I know it's short notice. I said those words over and over until they stopped feeling real. Each call was another punch to the gut. Each refund policy another reminder of what had just imploded. We were supposed to get married in 4 days. 4. Now I was spending my afternoon getting hit with non-refundable deposits and awkward sympathy from customer service reps. I didn't cry. Not then. Maybe I was still in shock. Maybe I was trying to stay busy. Or maybe I just didn't want to give her the satisfaction wherever she was. I just kept thinking, how do you promise someone forever and then end it with a voicemail? The next day, I was on hold with the linen rental company, still trying to claw back some fraction of what I'd spent, when my phone buzzed with a new text. It was from Alice. For a split second, I thought maybe, this was the explanation I was waiting for. Maybe she realized how cold that voicemail had been. Maybe she regretted it. Maybe she was ready to talk. Instead, I read. Took the luxury yacht trip I needed. Spent your corporate card for it. Don't worry, I'll pay you back. That was the whole message. No apology. No context. Just a casual update, like she'd borrowed my Netflix login or something. I sat there blinking at my phone, trying to figure out if I was hallucinating. A luxury yacht trip? On my card? I scrolled down. Another message followed. Also got a few things I needed. New wardrobe, spa day, facial, the works. I feel like a whole new person. My jaw dropped. I pulled up my credit card account and logged in. Balance, $24,762.18. The card had a limit of $25,000. I stared at the number, not even blinking. It didn't feel real. I clicked through the recent transactions. There they were, charges from an upscale yacht charter service out of Newport Beach. High-end boutiques in Laguna. Spa packages with names like Total Renewal Escape and Ocean Goddess Detox. Every charge was stamped with a date, after the breakup. She'd used the card not just after she dumped me, but because she dumped me. She wasn't having a crisis. She was celebrating. And not with her own money. With mine. She was an authorized user on the card, that much was true. We had agreed to use it for wedding expenses. Flowers. Venue payments. Vendor deposits. But this? This was theft wrapped in a designer robe and cucumber eye pads. I sat on the edge of the couch, staring at the screen, feeling something inside me go cold. Not sad. Not confused. Just done. She didn't just end our engagement. She turned my life upside down and treated it like a vacation souvenir. And the worst part? She thought I'd be okay with it. She really thought she could just text me about a luxury yacht trip like it was a cute brunch update. I looked at the messages again, then closed my phone. She had no idea who she was dealing with now. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to convince myself it was just a misunderstanding, that she would text again, call, apologize, something, but she didn't. At 8:02 the next morning, I dialed the number on the back of my credit card. Fraud department. This is Nina. How can I assist you today? My name's Mark Bradley, I said, voice tight. I need to report unauthorized charges made by an authorized user. That sentence felt surreal even as I said it, like I was turning myself in for trusting someone I loved. Nina was calm and professional. Okay, sir. Do you still have your physical card in your possession? Yes. The card is in my wallet. I haven't used it since last week. Understood. And the authorized user, what's your relationship? My ex-fiancée, Alice Monroe. We were engaged. She was only supposed to use the card for wedding expenses we agreed on together. I could hear her typing on the other end. And when did the unauthorized activity begin? Right after she broke off the engagement, I said. She left a voice message ending things, and then within 24 hours, I got a text saying she used the card for a luxury yacht trip and a designer shopping spree. There was a pause. I could tell she was trying to phrase her next question gently. Do you have documentation of her acknowledging these purchases? Yeah, I said. I have the text message where she says she used my card and says, don't worry, I'll pay you back. I've got the screenshots. Nina let out a soft exhale. That helps a lot, Mr. Bradley. I'm flagging the account and locking the card right now. We'll begin the dispute process and initiate a fraud claim. I spent the next 20 minutes answering questions, walking her through every charge. The $9,000 yacht charter. The $4,000 boutique charge. Spa bills. Jewelry. It was all there, in black and white. Before I hung up, she gave me a case number. I wrote it down, circled it, underlined it. And then I called the police. It wasn't an emergency, so they routed me to a detective who specialized in financial crimes. I explained everything again, calmly this time. Professionally. Like I was giving a statement at work. She had my trust, I told the officer. Not my permission. That evening, I sat down at my laptop and wrote an email to Alice. Subject line. Fraud case #4529. AZ/police report attached. In the body, I kept it simple. All charges have been reported as unauthorized. The bank and the police have your name. Have a safe trip home. And then I hit send. No anger. No begging. Just consequences. She must have found out the moment the card stopped working. Because less than an hour after I sent the email, my phone lit up like a Christmas tree. Alice, 5 missed calls. Alice, 2 voicemails. Alice, what the hell did you do? I ignored it. She texted again. Alice, you need to fix this. Now. My card just got declined at the marina. That one made me laugh out loud. I could almost see her, standing there in a silk cover-up with a cocktail in hand, red in the face, demanding someone explain why her corporate card wasn't working. 5 minutes later. Alice, I'm stranded here. I've got another spa appointment in an hour. Are you seriously doing this right now? Her tone wasn't apologetic. It was offended, like I had blindsided her. I turned off notifications and let her spiral. By noon, the call stopped. But the peace didn't last long. That evening, my phone rang again. This time it was a number I didn't recognize, but I answered. Mark? This is Jim Carter, Alice's father. Of course. I think we need to talk, he said, his voice stern, almost rehearsed. My daughter is stuck in a situation you caused. She's at a luxury resort and just had her payment declined. The staff there are threatening to call the police if the charges aren't handled. I stayed quiet. Let him feel the silence. Finally, I said, she's an adult. She made her choices. He chuckled like I was being ridiculous. Come on, son. Don't make this into something it doesn't need to be. This is a misunderstanding. Alice was just blowing off some steam. By stealing nearly 25 grand? I said. After breaking off our engagement with a voicemail? He sighed, shifting into his version of reasonable. Look, we all say things in anger. She just needs time to cool off. You know how emotional things get before a wedding. No, I said calmly. I know how expensive things get when someone maxes out a card that doesn't belong to them. He didn't like that. His tone sharpened. Mark, be a man about this. You don't want this to escalate. Just pay the balance and let everyone walk away with some dignity. I almost laughed again. I already reported the fraud to the bank and filed a police report. If she wants dignity, she can start with accountability. The line went quiet. Then, without warning, he muttered, You've made a big mistake. And hung up. 10 minutes later, another call. This time, it was Mrs. Carter. Mark, she said, already crying. Please. This is getting out of hand. She made a mistake. Just cover the charges and we'll sort it out privately. No, I said, my voice flat. There's nothing to sort out. She sniffled. You're really going to let this ruin her? I closed my eyes. No, she did that all on her own. Then I hung up. And for the first time since Alice left, I felt something close to peace. By the next morning, Alice had officially worn out her welcome at the luxury marina resort. Apparently, when your card gets declined for the final day of a yacht charter and the previous charges are flagged for fraud, the resort doesn't exactly hand you a complimentary exit package. She was stuck. The resort staff held her luggage until payment was resolved. Security was involved. And when she tried to bluff her way through it, flashing that privileged, tight-jawed smile she always used when she wanted someone to bend the rules, she was warned they would contact local authorities. That's when the calls started again. First from her, then from her father. "Mark," Mr. Carter snapped when I finally picked up. "She's being threatened with arrest. They're saying she committed fraud." "She did," I said simply. He laughed like I had told a joke. "Oh, don't be dramatic. This is a misunderstanding. A family matter. She just needed a break. She took a quarter of my credit limit and went on a personal shopping spree after breaking off our engagement," I replied. "That's not a misunderstanding. That's a felony. You know she's not a criminal. She's not a child either." He exhaled hard. "You're trying to teach her a lesson. I get it. But humiliating her like this doesn't help anyone. She humiliated herself." Click. 15 minutes later, my phone rang again. This time it was Mrs. Carter. Her voice was fragile, what with tears the moment she spoke. "Mark, please. She's my daughter. I know she messed up, but she's scared. They're talking about involving the police if the charges aren't resolved. I didn't say anything. She just wants to come home. Please don't let this happen to her." I closed my eyes. I wanted to feel sympathy, but all I felt was tired. "She stole from me," I said. "She knew what she was doing, and now she's facing the consequences. I'm not responsible for saving her from them. She's not like this," she whispered. She got overwhelmed." I thought about all the times Alice snapped at waitstaff, or demanded upgrades, or talked over people in meetings because she knew better. Overwhelmed didn't cover it. This was who she was. I just didn't want to see it before. "Tell her to book a commercial flight," I said. "Use your credit card." There was a long silence on the line. Then a soft, choked response. "She already did." "Good. Let her fly home in coach with a suitcase full of spa products and guilt." Hours later, Carly texted me, her best friend, who had barely said 2 words since the breakup. The message was short. "She's back. Her parents are furious. She cried the whole way home." I didn't reply. I pictured her walking through the airport in designer sandals, dragging her bags like she'd just been wronged by the universe. But for the first time, no one was shielding her. Not her parents. Not me. No yacht. No upgrades. No excuses. Just her. And the reality she created. A week later, I got a letter from Alice's lawyer. A real lawyer. On letterhead. It arrived by certified mail, like I was being served for murder or something. I tore it open at the kitchen table, still in my gym clothes, coffee half-sipped and cooling beside me. "Our client, Ms. Alice Monroe, asserts that the recent credit card fraud report made against her was filed maliciously and without merit." I stopped reading. I had to laugh. Maliciously? Without merit? She used my credit card to charter a yacht and shop for 5-star skincare, then had the audacity to claim I was out of line for reporting it? According to the letter, she wanted me to retract my fraud claim, apologize in writing, and reimburse her for emotional distress and reputational harm. They even mentioned a dollar figure. $30,000. I took a picture of the letter, attached the screenshots of her text where she bragged about the charges, and sent everything to my attorney. Megan, my corporate lawyer, called me back within the hour. "Well, she has guts, I'll give her that," she said, voice calm and dry. "But no case. She really thinks she's going to spin this into me being the villain. She's not thinking logically. She's trying to scare you." Megan drafted a reply, sharp, surgical, and loaded with receipts. She included the bank report, the police case number, and the text messages. She ended it with one clean sentence. "Any further attempts to intimidate or extort my client will be considered harassment." We sent it off. That should have been the end of it. But it wasn't. The smear campaign started quietly. A few vague Instagram stories from mutual acquaintances. Stuff like, "Some people love revenge more than closure. Funny how the quiet ones turn petty." And then, "You think you know someone." I started getting unfollowed. Friends I hadn't heard from in months started texting, asking what really happened. Someone told me Alice had said I was bitter, controlling, that I flipped out when she ended things. That I was only mad because I couldn't handle rejection. I didn't answer any of it. Instead, I cleaned house. Blocked her. Blocked her friends. Anyone who fed into the noise? Gone. Social media detox. Real life detox. All of it. My close friends, the ones who'd been with me since college, stuck around. They knew me. They knew who she was. They didn't need proof. Let her spin whatever story she wants. My friend Mason told me over beers. At the end of the day, her name's on a fraud report. Yours is on the refund check. He was right. I wasn't going to explain myself to people who never called when things were fine. I'd already done my part. I told the truth. I stood my ground. And now? I let her keep talking, while I kept moving. 3 months later, I got a call from the detective handling the case. "Mr. Bradley, just wanted to let you know charges have officially been filed." I didn't speak at first. I just held the phone to my ear, blinking at the wall like I hadn't heard him right. "Alice Monroe is being charged with grand larceny and credit card fraud," he continued. Given the amount and the evidence, the DA felt confident moving forward. I thanked him, hung up. Then I sat there in silence, letting it settle in. She was really being charged. It wasn't a bluff, not a warning. It was real. A week later, I read the formal court filing online. Her name in bold letters, staring back at me like something out of someone else's life. She avoided jail time by taking a plea deal. She agreed to pay restitution to the credit card company, served 2 years probation, and attend mandatory financial counseling. Her lawyer tried to make it sound noble, like she was taking accountability. But I knew the truth. She didn't want to face a jury. She just wanted it to go away. Too late. The Carters were furious. They sent me a long, bitter email packed with passive-aggressive blame. Words like cruel, vindictive, and unnecessary showed up at least half a dozen times. "She's lost everything," Mr. Carter wrote. "Her job, her reputation. How can you live with yourself knowing you did this to someone you once loved?" I didn't reply, because I didn't do this to Alice. Alice did this to herself. They just didn't want to admit it. But I didn't need their approval. I wasn't looking for closure from people who thought consequences were optional. Instead, I turned my attention to the life I'd nearly built with her and what I could still salvage from the wreckage. The wedding fund had been sitting in a savings account, untouched since I canceled everything. Between the refunded vendor deposits and the money I'd planned to use for the honeymoon, I had enough for a solid down payment. So I bought a house. A small, two-bedroom bungalow not far from the coast. Nothing fancy, just clean lines, big windows, a backyard where I could finally try growing basil without killing it. I painted the front door navy blue, put a bench on the porch, hung up a wind chime Alice would have hated. And for the first time in months, I felt something I hadn't in a long time. Peace. Not the fragile kind that depends on someone else behaving. Real peace. The kind that grows when you stop waiting for apologies that'll never come. I kept my job, took on a few projects I'd put off, reconnected with friends I'd neglected during the engagement whirlwind. Every now and then, I'd hear her name in passing. A friend of a friend. A coworker who saw her resume come through a recruiter. She was looking for a fresh start. Let her have it. I wasn't angry anymore. Just done. People say heartbreak is the hardest part of a breakup. But it's not. It's the betrayal. The quiet realization that the person you would have moved mountains for wouldn't have even crossed the street for you. But betrayal doesn't get the last word. Healing does. I stood on my new porch one night, beer in hand, breeze rolling off the water, and let myself feel it all, the hurt, the loss, the weight of letting go. Then I took a deep breath and stepped forward, not because I forgot, but because I remembered who I was before her and knew damn well who I was going to be after.